What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. We have a video today from Thomas Sowell. Now, honestly, I've heard of Thomas Sowell again through Larry Elder and such, but I never really heard, like, knew the guy. Like, I knew of him, but I don't really know him. Did I say knew? No. Anyways, see, that's that any education. Anyways, so I did a little bit of research. Now, apparently, it says right here on Wikipedia. Don't really trust Wikipedia, by the way. Thomas Sowell he's 90 years old. I believe he's still alive. I don't see a date of. He was in the military. Yeah, I don't see where it said he died or anything. Let's see. Born in North Carolina, grew up in Harlem. Let's see. Served in the United States Marine Corps during the Civil War. Okay. Let's see. Okay. This is where I kind of heard him from. He writes from a libertarian conservative perspective. He's written more than 30 books. Oh, wow. Let's see. He is a National Humanities Medal recipient. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's see. His fields are, like welfare, economics, education, politics, history, race relations, and child development. Now, this video popped up on my feed not too long ago, and I kind of wanted to do a reaction of it. So it says Thomas Sowell on white liberals, because as you guys know, there's nothing more dangerous in this damn world than the white liberal. Maybe Lucifer, maybe, but let's check this out. Let go.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black.
I had to remind him that he was a black person, so he can't vote for Donald Trump, and that he shouldn't be influencing an entire swath of people who may listen
So now
to
we're a
him
swath of people.
because he's worried about his own personal pocketbook.
So Dr. Ben Carson, you may be familiar with him.
Okay, I think this is all highlights. I don't know if Thomas is going to speak.
To task tonight after making some controversial comments on Mark Levin's conservative radio show. Here it is.
You're attacked also in many respects because of your race, because you're not supposed to think like this and talk like this. A lot of white liberals just don't like it, do they?
Well, they're the most racist people there are, because they put you in a little category, a little box. You have to think this way. How could you dare come off the plantation?
From my standpoint, as a black American, as far as I'm concerned, it is a high-tech lynching for uppity blacks who in any way deign to think for themselves, to do for themselves, to have different ideas. And it is a message that unless you kowtow to an old order, this is what will happen to you.
Bro, and this is in 1991.
You will be lynched, destroyed, caricatured.
Damn.
By a committee of the U.S. Senate rather than hung from a tree.
My father's a Black Panther. My mother got arrested for the sit-ins at age 6. They were fighting for us to have the right to our opinion, not the right to vote for whoever the white liberals said black people are supposed to vote for.
Booker T. Washington, his message, his story, his success, the generation that came out of slavery, their successes, that's an inconvenient truth for the political left. So yes, hide Booker T. Washington, hide all those blacks who were successful, hide all the success that took place before affirmative action. Just hide it. Pretend it didn't happen, and then you can believe that blacks are inferior and that only white people can save them.
Black people have never supported, for example, affirmative action, quotas, anything of that sort. Wherever polls have been taking a black opinion on such matters, or should people be paid equally, or should it be this or that, black people have never taken a position that you described. So it is not a question of what black people chose to do. It's what you choose to put in the mouths of black people. It's what you choose to project. It is not what any black people have ever said anywhere that you can put.
And they're still doing it.
Put into the mouth of the pollsters, as far as I can see.
I put in the mouth of the
Leadership of the black community.
Like most people, I have never seen a pollster.
If you look at the leadership of the black
Intellectuals in the 1960s began promoting the idea that those blacks who exhibited a culture different from the ghetto or black redneck culture were not really authentic blacks. This issue was strikingly demonstrated in a controversy between Irving Howe and Ralph Ellison, growing out of Howe's 1963 article criticizing such black writers as Ellison, whom Howe considered insufficiently authentic or militant. For Howe, the central character in Richard Wright's novel, Native Son, a ghetto black epitomizing the black redneck culture, was authentic, and the more sophisticated central character in Ellison's novel, Invisible Man, was not. Ellison rejected and derided the idea of a white man defining what a black man should be and attempting to confine individual blacks to that stereotype.
Sounds familiar. Joe Biden.
The ghetto black was the authentic black, not only spread among both white and black intellectuals, it had social repercussions far beyond the intellectual community. Rooting black identity in a counterproductive culture not only reduced incentives to move beyond that culture, it cut off those within that culture from other blacks who had advanced beyond it, who might otherwise have been sources of examples, knowledge, and experience.
These dudes speaking. This is so fucking true. God, this is true.
But more successful blacks were increasingly depicted as either irrelevant non-members of the black community or even as traitors to it. In turn,
Uncle Tom's.
this meant that many blacks who had a wider cultural exposure and greater socioeconomic success felt a need to conform, to some degree or another.
Bro, this is so
to a
fucking
more
true.
narrow ghetto view of the world, perhaps using ghetto language in order to prove their identity with their own race.
God!
Such social pressures become especially acute for young blacks in the schools and colleges. One consequence of this has been that counterproductive attitudes toward education have filtered upward into black middle-class young people raised in racially integrated middle-class communities.
This shit is so
such as
fucking
Shaker
true,
Heights,
bro.
who spend less time on their studies than their white or Asian American classmates, under the overhanging threat of being accused of acting white if they devote themselves to their
Oh,
studies
this is so
instead of to
true.
various social
This is
activities in which other black students indulge.
I'll be quiet.
The painful irony is that those who make this accusation are themselves acting white when they perpetuate a redneck culture from a bygone era. Even such a modern ghetto creation as gangster rap echoes the violence, arrogance, loose sexuality, and self-dramatization common for centuries in white redneck culture.
Yes.
And speaks in exaggerated cadences common in the oratory of rednecks in both the antebellum South and those parts of Britain from which their ancestors came. It is not only the cultural peculiarities of the black ghetto culture which has been perpetuated by the identity fetish developed in the post-1960s era. What has also been promoted has been a conformity of beliefs and affirmations among blacks, with those with different viewpoints being banished from consideration intellectually and ostracized socially, at least insofar as identity advocates succeed in imposing their straitjacket on others.
Bro, this is the truest shit I have ever seen.
Ideological litmus tests have been used by those promoting a black identity fetish, with those who do not pass such litmus tests being dismissed as not really black. This post-1960s black identity intolerance, promoted by white intellectuals as well as black leaders and activists, is a painful parallel to the post-1830s intolerance among white Southerners against anyone who questions slavery in any way. Maintaining what has been aptly called an intellectual blockade against ideas differing from those prevailing in the South, antebellum Southerners not only insulated themselves from ideas and viewpoints originating outside the region, but, at the same time, in effect drove out of the South independent-minded people who would not march in lockstep. The resulting narrow and unquestioning conformity of that era led the South into the blind alley of a civil war that devastated wide sections of the region and left a legacy of bitterness that lasted for generations. It can only be hoped that today's narrow intolerance promoted by a black identity fetish will not lead into similarly disastrous blind alleys.
Shop no further.
Bro, I'm gonna subscribe to this man. This is so fucking true, bro. This is so, I remember in school, I remember so well. Story time. I remember when I was a young kid in school, right? This had to be about, like, I'd say elementary to middle school, like 5th or 6th grade. Bro, I remember being like a B and A minus kid. All right, I remember being so fucking smart. bro, this shit, oh, like, I remember this shit. Because I remember how I would always get called, like, the teacher's pet and everything. Just because, like, I had, like, such great relationships with every teacher. And just because, like, again, I was making, like, high scores on almost every test I took. And from then, from, like, 5th to 6th, 7th grade, about in that time span, like, they all kept saying how I was acting white because, and I was, you know, I projected myself to be smarter than them. Like, no, motherfucker, I'm trying to get out of the school. Like, what are you talking about acting white? I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. Because at that time, like when you're a young kid, all you want to do is just get out of fucking school so you can wake up every day on Saturday morning, eat cereal, and watch your cartoons. But hey, you can't do that because hey, as soon as you hit 12th grade and everything, like 11th, 10th grade, you gotta get a job, bro. So you can't stay home on Saturdays and Sundays. But back then I didn't know that. So by me wanting, that was like my goal for being so fucking smart. Like I just wanted to fucking sit home and like play video games and watch cartoons and eat cereal on Saturday mornings. Like I wasn't trying to compete with anyone. I wasn't trying to say, oh, I'm better than you, I'm better than this guy. I just wanted to do me and get out of this fucking school. Like I didn't like most of my classmates. Like why the fuck would I want to hold myself back and look at y'all for, you know, more years than I'm supposed to, you know? like that shit is so, bruh. And another thing, like this also goes back into my whole anime thing, because I mentioned in a previous video that I used to be like heavily into anime, like One Piece, Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I still am, you know, I'll come back to it now. But back then, I mentioned this in a video before. But back then, I used to hang out with these kids in like the library. Like it used to be like these certain kind of kids. Like again, everyone had their own groups in middle school, high school. Like I was always part of the geeky anime kids. So, you know, they'll always call me, you know, white boy and everything else for like being outside that norm of what a black person is supposed to be and watch and like. Because again, I was heavily into anime back then. And so it got to the point where they teased me so bad that I actually stopped watching anime altogether. And now I'm like having to catch back up, and I'm, you know, getting back into all my anime and shows that that I've missed all these fucking years, man. But it goes back to fucking allowing people to dictate how I should be and how I should think. Don't ever fucking do that, bro. Be your own self. I'm telling you, if you learn anything from all these videos that I made, be yourself. Be you, bro. Like I'm telling you. Bro, this shit is so fucking true. We project the fact that fucking in order to be an authentic black, like you have to be a gangster, a rapper, a drug dealer, like all this bullshit that is actually holding us back. And then we bitch and moan about the white man, the white man. We're doing it to ourselves. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, bro, even some of the bitches that I dated, bro. Let me tell you, cause like, let me calm down. Cause I'm in the South, right? I'm in the South, so you know, usually like we have like sort of a slang, like a dialect, like kind of like an accent. Like you can kind of hear it in other people. And I remember dating this girl from the North, and like side note, like I worked at Chick-fil-A for about 6 years. So around that time, I was exposed to different types of people, and my talking got a lot proper because sometimes I would talk in such a slang that people couldn't understand me. So my wording and my grammar became better as, you know, as I'm around these different people. So when I started dating this bitch from the North, all right, and like when I like met her family and everything, like, you know, she introduced me to her parents and everything. She's like, you know, oh, you know, you're so, you know, well spoken and everything, and like you know, I expect you to have like a little bit of an, you know, like a southern accent, like a southern drawl. And I mean, I still kind of do, but it's only like, you know, I only bring it out at certain times and places. I don't know if you guys can hear it right now because I'm talking to you guys as how I would talk to, you know, a friend. But yeah, like that goes to show you, man, like when, I mean, I guess that whole accent thing would kind of be like, you know, for everyone in the South, but also since I'm black, like they also kind of expect me to speak like a little bit of like Gullah Geechee, and like I didn't speak any of that around her parents. Like I was like very formal, like very presentative. Like, I mean, that's how you kind of want to be when you're meeting parents at the same time. True, but also when you have like an accent being in a particular era for so long, like sometimes you just can't like erase that accent even while being proper. But like I spoke intelligent. Like I spoke with standard and purpose, and like that's how you should present yourself. And even while, bro, even I'm telling you, bro, even while I was in here, like her mom would always comment on how intelligent. I think I did it again. She would mention how intelligent I would sound, you know, like being around her and everything. I mean, I just didn't want to be, you know, disrespectful. It wasn't like a, you know, trying to impress her mom type of thing. I was just trying to, you know, just show myself in a good light. Like I wasn't trying to be, you know, I wasn't trying to present myself to be some kind of hoodlum, and then her parents not like me, and then that caused frictions with her and her family and me, and I didn't want to do all that. So I just went into that situation talking proper. Like it wasn't even about, you know, acting a certain way. I would just wanted to, you know, show that, you know, I'm an upstanding guy. That's it. All right, that's it. But going back, bro, again, black people, like just like Candace Owens said, man, like black people have hold on. Because I'm like kind of yelling in a certain voice. But black people, like we lift up the worst in our community. Like all these gangsters, all these rappers and shit, all these dope dealers, these dope boys, like those are like heroes in the community. Like all these rappers talking about, you know, killing niggas and all this, like, and yet you see this shit. And this is why I can't fucking stand Black Lives Matter, because you see the shit. You see all these years, all these rappers talking about killing their own people, and yet all these rappers, they bitch and moan about the fucking white man, about cops. Like you guys are doing it too. I don't know. I don't know, bro. But again, that's Thomas Sowell. This man spoke fucking truth. I have to get that fucking book. I have to read that book, because that shit is so fucking true. Like if you don't present yourself how other people want you to be, like you're automatically an Uncle Tom, a coon, a sellout, all this bullshit. This shit is so fucking relevant back then as it is today. Like the relevancy is consistent. I don't understand, bro. Like this is so fucking true. It's so fucking true. If you don't present yourself to, you know, talk Gala Geechee, you know, talk about, you know, well, not really talk about, but listen to rap and all that shit, and like sell dope and like have your pants sagging and shit, like you're not in authentic black. Think about that shit, bro. If you do shit that's out of the norm of the majority of black people, you're considered acting white. Even if you're just being yourself, even if you just like something different than that other black people don't really like, you're considered acting white. That's, bro, I'm getting out of here, bro. Like this shit has opened my fucking eyes, man. Like, bro, this road of knowledge, I hope you guys are enjoying the journey, because this shit is fucking real. Like, I knew that I couldn't have been the only one back then. I knew I couldn't have been the only one who felt like this, who felt like, oh, why should I have to conform to what you motherfuckers believe? Like, why can't I just like what I want to like? Like, I like anime. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, back then, I liked the Power Rangers. Like, black people weren't really, I mean, around that age, they weren't really into Power Rangers. Well, they were more so in line of, what were they in line of? See, I don't even know. Like, I didn't even, like, really try to be around the in group. So I don't even really know what everyone was really into back then. Yeah, because like back then, like in like elementary, middle school, like I was kind of, you know, sort of in that phase where, you know, you like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and all that stuff. I think that was around the time where everyone like was kind of really getting into puberty, so like their attention was more focused into girls. I mean, I was into girls as well, but I mean, you know, my love for, you know, anime and everything else was still there, and it was prevalent as I was in school. But bro, I'm telling you, that shit was so fucking, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of like, I remember, because going back to that like education thing, because remember when I said I used to get like A's and B's and shit like that, and like always used to be called teacher's pet, and how I was always fucking teased. Like, I actually made a conscious decision in my mind to do worse so I can stop being teased and to like slack off. And teachers would notice that, and like they couldn't understand, like, man, this kid was like such a you know, a modeled student, and now like he's like coming, like he's like showing up to class late and like not finishing his homework and like, you know, like pretending like, you know, like to do all this like in sleep, like in the class. Like what's going on here? Like something's different, you know? And I remember my grades just steadily dropping. And I remember having to go through like, yeah, this was like in middle school. In like 10th and like 9th, 10th, yeah, it had to been like 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. I had to take those 3 years of fucking summer school, bro. I had all because I wanted to not be teased so much, and all because I wanted to like kind of fit in more. Because, you know, again, like we all have periods where we all want to fit in, like no lie, we all have that. That was around the time where I wanted to kind of fit in with the in group, and even when I did that, even when my grades fucking tanked, I never really got in. That's the sad part. So I wasted 3 years worth of summer vacation, bro, all just to fit in. Also, my own people could like me more. Bro, looking back at that shit, that was the stupidest thing I ever fucking did, because I could have had that whole summer like doing other shit. Like that shit would have bruh, like, and the thing is, it made it harder. That's the thing, it made it fucking harder, bro, because now when you stop paying attention in school, and now when you take these big tests and you stop studying and shit, and like you pretend not to give a fuck, like now you really have to crunch down and focus, and now you just don't have that motivation and drive anymore because it's been weeded out of you. Bro, listen, all I'm gonna say is, if anyone who is watching this video, if anyone, just know that if you feel as though you're ever going through what I just described, be yourself, bro. Be yourself. I don't give a fuck if you're white, black, Chinese, Portuguese, whatever. And they're saying like you're acting a different race or color or some shit. Fuck them. Fuck them. Honestly, fuck them. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when you leave this earth, you have to be happy with yourself and the life you live. Be yourself. I'm telling you, please, bro. Be yourself. If you're in the anime, be in the anime, bro. If you like getting high grades and succeeding and dominating, do that. Fuck them. Honestly, fuck them. All these people that you meet in school, they won't transfer over to college. They won't transfer over to when you become an adult. Some might, maybe like 2 or 3 people, but the rest of them, they're gonna do their own thing. And the crazy thing is, y'all wanna know what the crazy thing is? Remember how I said my grades were tanking? By the time I reached fucking 11th and 12th grade, these motherfuckers had a metamorphosis where, okay, now we change our mind and we all want to do the best in our classes. We want to get the top score. Like, that's, bro, these motherfuckers, bro. These motherfuckers, that's the thing, bro. But they flipped the switch on me. They flipped the switch and the script. These motherfuckers at the end of my high school term, now all of a sudden, everyone wants to crunch down and get their homework done and like, you know, be serious about their work. Now I have to catch up because all those fucking years of not studying and not focusing and not paying attention to school, now I have to catch up to them. Because now all of a sudden they want to flip the script and say, oh, shit's serious. I'm getting out of here, guys, man. Again, whoever is watching this video, please, if you learn anything from my videos, be yourself. That's all you gotta do. Be yourself. Don't listen to what everyone is saying. Don't listen to what anyone else is doing. Be yourself. Stay in your own lane. If you're a model student, continue to be a model student. Don't follow the path that anyone else has set for you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's up to you whether you take this advice or not. I'm telling you from a guy who's been in this fucking experience, bro. Be yourself. That's all I got, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.